Now, 95.9 FM WATD presents Friends with Benefits, exploring relationships, social issues, and life stories. Be a part of the show at 781-837-4900. Friends with Benefits with your host, Brian Stratton.
95.9 WATD, Friends with Benefits here on a Wednesday night. Here we got a full round table. Hey, Jay Gillespie, how are you?
How you doing, Brian?
Good to see you again.
Good to be here.
All right, man. I'm Paul Kearney, Atlantis Sports Clubs.
Brian, thanks for having me, buddy.
Thanks for racing up here. We have a special guest tonight, and that's Linda Bougier. How you doing, Linda?
Hey, Linda.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, we're going to get your mic adjusted a little bit there, Linda. Right, you got to get right.
Hello.
Professional radio here. Linda is a certified hypnotherapist. And I'm going to actually just go over a couple of quick things before we start talking to Linda.
Okay.
It's always exciting to have a hypnotherapist in studio who knows what they're doing. But first of all, some of the sponsors that we work with, shout out to Mamma Mia's, of course, where we're doing a live remote next week in Green Harbor, Massachusetts, right in Marshfield. A live remote. Friends with Benefits will be there, giving away $25 gift cards and $50 gift cards and whatnot. Lots of great times. That's at 8 o'clock next Wednesday night, December 11th. So we will be live.
Awesome.
On location.
Love that place.
Which will be great, 8 o'clock. Of course, Nick's over in Plymouth, also giving away some gift certificates tonight. Just go to CTA Management at rocketmail.com, CTA Management at rocketmail.com. In the subject heading, put Nick's, N-I-X, contest, and we'll put you in. Sorry to those out there who, we do have some gift certificates that are still holding that need to be sent out. And I will be doing that tomorrow. So we've had a lot of contest winners. I've been slacking behind.
Been holding that one from the York Steakhouse since 1983, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so Nick's is right on the waterfront. It's basically one of those big. It used to be the Weather Vane.
Right.
If you remember what that was. Great seafood, great food, great nightlife over there.
Fun place.
You got to check the place out. It's awesome.
Good place.
It's awesome. So let's get to Linda. Linda, thanks for being here on Friends with Benefits tonight.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
No problem. Linda is a NGH member in good standing. She manages a private hypnosis practice in Plymouth that serves the South Shore and the Cape Cod area. Now, Linda, we got lots of questions for you, but if you want to start and tell us a short bio. Short bio. Are you from Massachusetts?
I am from Massachusetts.
Okay.
Actually, I worked for Aramark Corporation for 15 years as a sales and motivational trainer. Several years ago, my mother became very ill.
Okay.
And after she passed, I suffered with the grief very badly.
Okay.
And I also gained some weight. And I reached out to a hypnotherapist who was 91 years old.
Oh.
And I've lost 65 pounds and
amazing?
recovered from
Awesome.
the horrible grief that I suffered for a long time.
Do you attribute that to the hypnotist?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Hypnosis is such a gift. And I became a hypnotist because with my background in sales and motivational training, I loved motivating salespeople to hit their highest and best. Okay. So the hypnosis, becoming a certified hypnotist, was a natural progression for me, and it's so rewarding.
That's great. Can I give out your office number just to get, because I will a few times.
Oh, sure.
But let's go 774-283-4090, or if you can't, if you don't have a pencil or a pen or whatnot, just go to CTA Management at rocketmail.com. We'll forward you all of Linda's information. What is a consulting hypnotist? What is it?
Well, the difference between
it's a stage, the Frank Santos sits on the stage that makes people walk like chickens, and the ones that are like you that, what do you do?
I'm not trained to be a stage hypnotist, although it's a lot of fun.
That's an X-rated hypnotist, I think, right? That thing, okay, yeah.
Yes, Frank Santos.
She's not one of these.
I clarify that right
Okay.
up front with male clients. A consulting hypnotist is just that, consulting. To give you an example, when I work with someone, I spend a fair amount of time. It's not like you see group hypnosis where you go in, you spend $50 and there's 500 people in a room. Well, my clients get very, very close attention. The first a session generally is 2.5 hours. And we sit down and discuss their particular issues, the negatives of what might be bothering them, and the rewards of changing. And then I really take a lot of time to explain what hypnosis is and the benefits of it, and get to really know the individual. So the session becomes highly individual and customized. So the client has so much more success by working with a consultative hypnotist. I call myself a visual coach.
Okay, what kind of issues are best suited for hypnosis?
The mainstream issues are mostly I work with really is healthy lifestyle, the pursuit of happiness, losing weight. A lot of folks are coming to me now to quit smoking because of the increase in taxes on the cost of cigarettes, and folks are just desperate to quit smoking. I work also with a lot of folks who are under tremendous stress. Either they're caring for loved ones, or they have a very difficult job, or life is stressful. So they want to find new ways of coping with the stress, and also managing the stress so it doesn't affect them in their biology. In other words, people are literally getting sick from the stress of modern society.
What about cat allergies?
That probably wouldn't be in a list of things that I would never promise I could cure someone of cat allergy.
I even asked an acupuncturist about that. He said, "No, sorry, can't help you." He said, "Get rid of the cats."
Yeah, we could hypnotize the cats.
Hypnotize the cats, right? Yeah.
I think that's great, Linda, and especially with the quit smoking. My parents actually did that like 40 years ago, 30 years ago. They quit smoking, and it was all through hypnosis. And it's great, too, is that, especially with the weight loss. Do you think your hypnosis, just with your motivational speaking background, so you're kind of integrating motivation and, would you call it spiritual, or what do you think it is that makes people change?
When I hypnotize someone, they are taking an internal journey. What that means is they're stopping the
noise,
the thoughts and the clutter of their mind. The thoughts, I got to pick up the kids up. Yeah. Oh my God, I got to go do this, and my boss is expecting this. So what it is, it's like meditation. You're in the same alpha wave pattern as meditation. However, with a consulting hypnotist, you're being guided. So I'm the coach. I'm actually working with the folks and delivering the suggestions being planted in the individual's mind. Now, an individual cannot be hypnotized unless they are in the alpha brainwave, and that's very similar to right before you fall asleep. Okay. So did your father ever say to you, say, Dad, I want a new car? Did he ever say, well, I got to sleep on it? Well, what he was doing was, right before going to bed, he was sleeping on it. When he was resting, he was thinking the pros and cons of, should I get my kid a car? Shouldn't I get them a car? So when he woke up in the morning, he had the right answer, and that's what hypnosis does. It's a state of relaxation where the voluntary mind shuts off and the subconscious mind opens up. And there is absolutely no way of overcoming negative habits, bad coping skills, or negative thinking without affecting your subconscious mind. It is the driver of all your behaviors. So once you're in that state, and you're listening to these wonderful suggestions and the reward you're receiving after you overcome this, it's just so empowering.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other thing, too, is, and you can see that what basically it is we've been talking about this, is when you're stressed out, you're going to do two things, either eat or exercise. Pick two. And if you can relieve the stress, then what you're going to do is you're going to relieve the person from overeating because of stress. I mean, that just makes a lot of sense to me. Mind, body, spirit.
I work with a lot of people, and you'll be amazed. I work with people that are very good. They're at the gym, they're watching their diet, but they have 10 or 15 pounds to lose. And they come to me for motivation to exercise, to move. They want to take time out of those schedules to get to the gym.
But their brain is so blocked with why they don't have time. And, it's funny, those commercials you always see, like the guy's like, oh, I had to do this today. I didn't go to the gym. And there's so many things that people can say on why not to do it. So
you get sidetracked.
Right. So yours is more like focus in on what we're trying to accomplish. Quit smoking, lose weight. There's so many other things that that are associated with that. But good work.
Yeah, we're speaking with Linda Bougier, who is a certified hypnotherapist. Jay, you had a question?
No, I was just going to say
Oh.
it. So we constantly talk about this, how it's so important to be able to recognize the important things around you, the people around you, the places around you that are right there and local, and without being all distracted by all the busyness that's going on. And I think that's one of the things that hypnosis seems to help people with, as far as we can tell. And I'm always in the alpha brain stage, by the way. Just so you know, that's permanently.
You're very blessed.
Yeah, always on the verge of being asleep. So
Let's give out Linda's office number again. It's 774-283-4090. Can everybody be hypnotized?
Just about. There's very few exceptions.
Okay. And
young-
the people that you have.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I've had people come to see me and say, I absolutely do not think you can hypnotize. I don't think you. And I tell them, I said, don't worry about it. It's not pass or fail. I'm actually not hypnotizing you. You are hypnotizing you. And I tell them, do you watch commercials? Think about it. When we watch commercials, it makes us want BMWs. It makes us, sorry for the free plug, but it makes us want all the eye candy we see. We're actually in a state of hypnosis. And when I explain this, folks calm down. But that's the consultative part of my practice. I spend time with folks and help them understand. As a matter of fact, there is a special approach for people that are very analytical.
Sure.
There's an induction that I use for folks that are analytical and they need like a job to do. Right. So I'll tell them to imagine a circle on a chalkboard, and I'll tell them to write a number and erase it. So there are different approaches for different types of personalities, and that's very interesting.
Wow, that's great. And so, what would you suggest if, say, would you suggest twice a week, once a week, or how does it work?
Well, how long does it take to be effective, hypnosis?
That's a really good question. Majority of folks that I see, excuse me, I've had a little cold.
Sure.
I will say right off the bat, 3 sessions.
3 sessions, yep.
3 sessions. If you've been smoking for a long, long time, let's say you've been smoking since you were 15 and it's 30, 40 years, you're going to need 3 or 4 sessions. And I help people reduce their cigarette smoking week after week after week. So it's 3 sessions, 7 days apart, approximately.
21 days.
So
perfect.
21 days, and that's
perfect.
And medical science.
Yes, 21 days, form of habit, good or bad.
Habit, exactly.
Yeah, that's a great. So yeah, that would be 3 times for 21 days.
21 days.
That's perfect.
And then you're completely reprogrammed after that point. In fact, but the initial effectiveness is immediately after the session.
Well, I definitely know that. I've been hypnotized, and the first time I do remember immediate results within a couple of hours. But I mean,
it's amazing.
Right, it is amazing. I do think it's one of these things, though, you have to go in there to be 100% into this, and not be anxious or even, to just be focused on the task at hand.
Well, the key for hypnosis, it's not the hypnotist that's successful, it's the client.
Right. That's my point, yes.
And I've had gentlemen call me and say, my wife is going to kill me. She's going to lock me out of the room if I don't stop smoking.
Yep.
So what happens is I have to say, well, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm going to ask you to come back when you are motivated.
Sure.
So hypnosis is very effective when the individual is literally at wit's end and they just are ready for the change.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's 100% effective.
So, Lynn, let's do the numbers right here. What would a pack of cigarettes cost, what, $8?
I'll tell you exactly. I have it all figured out.
You got it all figured out?
Yeah.
How much is it in a year? Do people say it?
When I work with smokers, sometimes smokers say, oh, the hypnosis, it's too expensive.
Right.
And I ask them, well, how much do you smoke? Well, today in Massachusetts, cigarettes cost close to $11. If you smoke a pack a day, that's close to $4,000 a year.
Wow.
So in my hypnosis practice, it's a fraction of that. And I also tell them, remember, when you are spending the $11 on your cigarettes, 5 of that go to the tax man. So when they hear that, like, oh no,
Yeah, and also too, and the tax
motivation.
man isn't collecting enough money because it should be $35 a pack because we subsidize smoking in this state. So for people what we really should do is if people really want to get the taxes straightened out, they should charge $35 a pack. Go smoke all you want. But the tax, what we pay in healthcare cost adds up to $35. So you basically, not only are you hurting it, you're losing $4,000 a year, but you're hurting the economy. So all you smokers out there are basically they're hurting our interest.
And slowly but surely it is going there, Paul.
You know, we just got a couple more minutes left because the time is flying by, but can hypnosis increase creativity or even change your luck?
Absolutely.
It can change. How can it change your luck? Because, you know what, I did some testing. Listen, I have this theory about luck. You ever notice that good things happen in streaks and bad things happen in streaks?
Luck favors the prepared.
Well, that is true. Luck is the
that.
residue of hard work. Luck is the residue of hard work. That's basically. But bad luck, a lot of the time, it's hard to get out of that rut. It could last for 2-3 weeks, and it's always a little.
It boils
teeny thing.
down.
What
Brian,
is it, Linda?
It boils down simply to the law of attraction.
Okay.
Today, people are so hardwired for toxic thinking and stress. People anticipate bad things happening
They do.
based on the news and everything like
Yes.
that. You know what I mean? That's why this station is great, because the station's very positive.
Okay.
So the way people can change their luck and they manifest success using hypnosis is the fact that they're reprogramming their mind for positive thinking. In hypnosis, I ask my clients to use your vivid imagination, go forward in space and time. See yourself in that new job. See yourself successful in your sales. See yourself as a size 5. See yourself. And you know what? What changes? When you can actually see it, imagine it, feel it, sense it, do it in your own mind, it happens.
It's awesome.
You-
You're pumping us right here.
You
We're all
believe
like,
this too. You believe this 100%, right?
Well,
so
I'm-
anybody can change their bad luck. Is that true?
Absolutely.
They really can.
They
'Cause-
can.
Okay, I'll go to you tomorrow or the next day, and we'll try.
Brian,
that.
I would
have
be
had
honored.
Holiday bad luck here.
I would be honored
Everything's
to work
too
with
expensive.
you. I would be honored to work with you.
I'm excited to do this, and
In
then I'll
fact,
report back.
What we'll do is
Yeah.
I'll work with you for switching your luck and actually manifesting more success, whatever you want,
Okay.
whatever your dreams are.
Sure.
And when you hit that, you invite me back and we talk about it.
I think that's.
I got a
great
good idea. Don't bring him out of it.
Yeah, I know.
Just keep him in the state.
That would be nice. I need it. Well, Linda, I'd love to thank you for coming on to the show tonight. It's Linda Bougier, certified hypnotherapist, office number 774-283-4090, or email LBOGGIER, that's LBOGGIER @gmail.com.
Can I add something?
You can add it, sure.
I have a full profile on LinkedIn. And if you
Oh,
just
great.
key in my name, it has my background, my education, all the good stuff. And if you are in a professional setting, I'd really like to reach out to any businesses who need help with their salespeople manifesting success.
Well, you know what? I think me and a couple of these guys are going to come down.
We're there.
She's giving us complimentary sessions, and I cannot
and very
resist that.
inspirational. That was great.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
great. Well, Linda Bougier, thanks so much.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Linda.
much.
You're listening to Friends with Benefits 95.9 WATD. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Hi, this is Kenny Loggins. You're listening to Brian Stratton on 95.9 WATD.
Are you looking for quality wines, domestic and imported beers, and fine spirits? Then you need to visit Brant Rock Variety and Package Store, 25 Dyke Road in the Brant Rock section of Marshfield. Or check out their new location, Cohasset Wine and Spirits, 29 South Main Street in Cohasset, both with the lowest prices in town. Brant Rock Package and Variety Store and Cohasset Wine and Spirits are both locally owned and your headquarters for ice, soda, and lottery tickets. Brant Rock Package and Variety Store, 25 Dyke Road in the Brant Rock section of Marshfield. And now, Cohasset Wine and Spirits, 29 South Main Street in Cohasset, both happy to serve you.
Hey, it's Brian Stratton, and I'd like to talk to you about Mamma Mia's restaurant. With 5 convenient locations around the South Shore, you don't have to drive far to enjoy delicious Italian cuisine, just the way you like it. Whether you're in Carver, Plymouth, Hanover, Kingston, or the new location in Green Harbor, Mamma Mia's is something to please any palate. Catering, gift cards, and takeout are available 7 days a week. Contact Mamma Mia's online at mammamias.net. That's mammamias.net.
Experience the Atlantis Sports Club difference. Atlantis Sports Club and Spas are located throughout Massachusetts, including locations in Braintree, Holbrook, and Hyannis, featuring state-of-the-art cardiovascular and strength training equipment, plus indoor and outdoor pools and full-service spas. Atlantis offers something for everyone. How about Zumba, spinning, and strength training classes, swim lessons for the kids, or a luxurious spa treatment? Your Atlantis membership allows access to all locations. Atlantis Braintree, located off the highway across from the South Shore Plaza, features beautiful indoor and outdoor pools. You'll find the newest Holbrook location next to Stop and Shop with plenty of parking and a spacious floor plan. Take a mini vacation at Atlantis Sports Club and Spa in Hyannis. Play golf, then relax by the resort-style pool. End the day with a relaxing treatment at the spa at Atlantis. Mention this ad and receive 20% off any spa treatment. Experience the Atlantis difference today. Visit AtlantisSportsClubs.com and book your tour today. The law office of Philip M. Markella is a full-service law firm with a focus on family and divorce law. When your marriage dissolves, Phil's office will help you navigate those often rough waters. They'll represent your interests with respect and compassion. The law office of Philip M. Markella also assists with estate planning, real estate transactions, and adoptions. Get in touch with the law office of Philip M. Markella, 19 Depot Street, Duxbury. Their telephone number, 781-934-7977, 781-934-7977, and on the web at markellalaw.com. That's MARKELLA law.com.
Are you tired of trying worn-out methods for losing weight, quitting smoking, reducing toxic stress? Are you highly motivated to make healthy changes only to fall back into the same old habits? If yes, then call me Linda Bougier. I am your certified consulting hypnotist located in Plymouth, Mass. I will be your visual coach to help you tap into the power of your mind to live the healthy and happy life you deserve. It's true. You can change your mind to change your life. I offer private and group sessions for losing weight, quitting smoking, stress reduction, and more. Call me, Linda Bougier, certified hypnotist, for a free consultation and to reserve an appointment for a new you in the new year. Call 774-283-4090. Or you can find me on Facebook. That's Linda Bougier, Boggier, certified hypnotist. Have a happy new year.
.95.9 WATD, Friends with Benefits on a Wednesday night, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock every week. And I still want to get back to some of these sponsors. We talked about Nick's down in Plymouth on the waterfront, right, Jay?
Great place.
Also, Cancun, which is on 145 Main Street in Kingston.
Also a great place.
Giving out $50 two $25 gift certificates at CTA Management at rocketmail.com. We will basically just draw these out of a hat and send you. Cancun's right. It's a great Mexican place. I went there Cinco de Mayo. And great margaritas.
I was just going to say, great margaritas.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Great food, great management. They have a lounge. They have all sorts of great things.
And a great location.
Great location. Right off the highway. Is it
right
exit 9?
Right there. I think it is 9, 10?
Yeah.
9.
That's Cancun, 145 Main Street. Also, the Olive Garden's going to do a $50 gift certificate, too. They're in Plymouth. The Olive Garden, right on Old Colony Place, over by Walmart, Super Walmart. Fine Italian cuisine, $50 gift certificate tonight. We'll be giving that away. CTA Management at rocketmail.com. Colony Place is that Plymouth, what is that off of? Exit 8? Something like that. It's over by the mall. By Walmart's right next to it in that plaza, and there's all sorts of things. But I always like that never-ending salad bowl they have.
Right, I know where.
Yep. And you know it and all that. But we'll get to that. But CTA Management at rocketmail.com. Put in the subject heading Olive Garden, Nick's, or Cancun, and even Mamma Mia's. We'll give you some gift certificates. Pleasure to have State Rep Tom Calter here in studio. Hi, Tom.
Hello,
how are you?
Brian.
And,
Great
and your
to see you.
associate, Amy?
Yeah, of course.
Hi, Amy. So what's Amy's last name?
Belmore.
Okay, from Kingston.
Yes.
One of my old friends. How you doing, Amy?
Good.
Tom, it's great to see you. You're doing all these wonderful things out there in the world, especially in your district. Why don't we tell the listeners where you represent?
I represent, Brian, 6 towns, all are parts of 6 towns, all of Kingston, all of Plimpton, all of Halifax, and then parts of Duxbury, parts of Middleborough, and parts of Plymouth.
Okay, well, and that's quite an area.
It's 105 square miles. It's a big district. It's spread out. They say it's a very difficult district to serve because it's 6 towns.
A lot of pine trees.
A lot of pine trees. Even though I may have one precinct in Duxbury, I'm still expected to go to their town meetings and meet with their folks. It's a difficult district to serve. It's they say it's an easy district to defend. It's never been easy, though.
Sure.
Yeah, and Tom, good work. Yeah, because you're right.
You guys know each other. This is Paul Kearney.
Oh, I've met Paul before. Sure.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
You're probably one of the only reps that has like 6 towns.
No, actually,
amazing.
Paul, there are some reps up in the Berkshires that have 10, 12, 14 towns.
Wow.
Because they're so sparsely populated.
Right, spread apart.
And then there are my friends from Lowell. My dearest friend up there is Kevin Murphy, who can walk his entire district.
Yeah.
He can walk from one end to the other in 15 minutes.
Right. So that must be easier to campaign as well because you got 5 polling places.
It's harder to campaign because I always obviously on election day I'll stand at my home polling station in Kingston from the moment it opens to the moment it closes, and I challenge all of my opponents to stand there with me and do the same.
Absolutely.
It takes a lot of work, but leading up to the election, it's very, very important that in all 6 towns we walk every neighborhood, we meet folks. They want to know that their representative is from their town. May not live in their town, but they're from their town.
Sure.
So whether it's the Montponset Pond in Halifax, which is a fight I've been fighting and taking a lot of time, Halifax folks want to know that I care about that as much as they care about that. At Oak Point in Middleborough, which is Precinct 1, which is the only precinct I have in Middleborough, they want to know that I understand their issues, their senior issues, as well as they do. And if I'm in Kingston, that's my hometown, it's easier. If it's in Plymouth, they want to know, as they did last night. We were at Town Hall till 9:30 at night talking about the spent fuel rods at Pilgrim. They want to know that I'm as afraid of that issue and as focused on that issue as the folks that live next door to it. And if a rep can't make people feel that they own the issues in that town as much as they own those issues, then they can't be a state rep.
Right. No, it was well said. Because honestly, that everybody has there's a lot of people are just one issue. That's it. You're either with them or you're against them, and they don't care what party you're at.
And then there are those global issues that affect all 6 towns.
Sure.
You deal with every day, Brian.
Sure.
There's we've filed legislation about an in-school resource officers to deal with the scourge of drugs and addiction in our schools. That affects all 6 towns. We've filed legislations that has to do with special education needs and funding and programs and the state formula. That affects all 6 towns. So there are a number of issues. My solar bill that deals with promoting solar development and having the utilities buy back the surplus power at a floor has given rise to an industry that's growing at double-digit levels. That affects all 6 towns. So there are the issues that are very parochial in nature, and then there are the issues that are the same in each of those communities.
Well, Tom, I'd like to circle back to one of the main reasons you're on my map, because I really didn't know too much about you until you really started getting very intimately involved with the police resource officers.
Yes.
Which is, in this district you have Jim Cantwell, you have Josh Cutler, right in these surrounding towns. And I have spearheaded a charity, as you know, it's called Citizens for Children's Safety.org, by the way. And that is basically our objective is to get a police resource officer in all the schools, some towns have one police resource officer that bounce from school to school, which is it has some effectiveness to it, but doesn't to me, solve major problems that you and I completely agree upon. And as you can see in the last 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, what's going on. And I guess from our charity standpoint, we're concerned with the bullying, the shooting attacks especially, is keeping those schools secure. They're building $75 million schools everywhere, and there's no line of defense. And that, to me, that's amazing. Metal detectors, maybe bulletproof windows. It sounds over the top, but ultimately in the last 2 or 3 weeks, there's been an epidemic of shootings. There was one in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. There's one in Pennsylvania. And, of course, on the North Shore with this the Danvers teacher just recently.
It's horrible.
It's horrible. And I can't see it. We're in a different age now. It's 2014 almost. And like you and I talked about, it's not 1972, where maybe you didn't need this way back then. But we're in a different age. Tom, any thoughts about that?
Yeah, if you have a couple of hours, I'll share them with you. You know, I've got 3 adult children. One of them is a police officer. And my youngest son is a Boston EMS medic. So they see it all.
Oh, sure.
And so
in the front line.
And my daughter works at Social Hospital. Oh. So I get some perspective on things every day that perhaps other people don't hear about or see every day, things that are not in the newspaper every day. I also, as a state representative, get calls daily or at least weekly from parents who are very concerned, who don't sleep at night thinking about the environment in which their children are growing up with, whether it be drugs, whether it be bullying, whether it be potential intruders or pedophiles. And they worry about all those things. And although people seem in this current day and age to not love or sometimes respect politicians, they seem to come to us looking for solutions through the legislative process. And you know, I'm a business guy that decided to do this for a decade or more, and so I'm delighted they come to me. Having said all that, my primary focus in filing my bill for an in-school resource officer had to do with having been on the regional school committee in Silver Lake for quite a long time and in charge of the public safety subcommittee. I've got this growing concern, and it's not about one of those threats over another, but the one that is most prevalent in my mind right now is the heroin addiction, which has become a scourge in this country, in this state, and in southeastern Massachusetts. And it occurred to me that many of the people affected by this scourge are otherwise wonderful people. On average, we've lost in my district a 20-something-year-old a week in 2013.
Wow.
And so last month I conducted a drug forum at Silver Lake, which unfortunately had to compete with the first night of the World Series. And we got over 200 people. Parents are afraid. Parents are concerned. Because the stories we're hearing, and some of them shared that night about very good kids who are now gone, are about people who lived an otherwise normal life, who somehow made it into their 20s without ever having tested or tried or experimented with drugs, and all of a sudden they're gone. And people want to know, how does that happen? How do they go from an opiate like a Percocet to an oxycodone to an OxyContin to heroin? Well, the simple answer is that an OxyContin pill costs $80. A hit of heroin costs $4.
Oh wow!
But unfortunately, the risk of overdosing is 10 times greater with an injection than it is with a pill. And so kids are dying. And so I'm focusing very hard on it. We're planning another one in January. And so the bill I filed came about as a result of a meeting I had several years ago with the Plymouth County police chiefs. It was a legislative meeting, and I introduced to the South Shore delegation that morning of my intent to introduce this bill, and I filed it a week later, and it's gained universal support from both sides of the aisle. The concept is really very simple. If you're familiar with the CPA, the Preservation Act, Conservation I can't say it. Community Preservation Act.
There it is.
I had a mind block.
I knew you had it.
It's fine.
And if you're familiar with it, in each town, a town can put up to 3% of its tax base, of its tax revenue, into a fund. And the purpose of the fund is to buy conservation land, it's to buy recreational property or make recreational investments, or to invest in historical, make historical investments in buildings and so forth.
Sure.
In my hometown of Kingston, it's been universally supported. It's been as high as the max, 3%. It's during difficult times, it's gone down to 2% or 1.5%. Whatever the community puts in, the state matches, dollar for dollar.
Wow, great.
So from an investment standpoint, it's a wonderful return.
It is.
It's an amount of money you can put in that is above your 2.5 limit, Proposition 2.5.
Sure.
Limits you. You can only increase taxes by that much per year max without an override. This is a sum of money that a town can allocate, can raise and appropriate above the 2.5 without an override. And so I use that same concept that says that if a town invests in their community policing program, we don't like to call it policing, we like to call it in-school resource officers. And I'll tell you why in a minute. That they can do that through a town meeting vote above their 2.5 levy limit, and the state will match it. It's gained universal support with police chiefs, with the Mass Municipal Associations, and other prominent groups, MMA, MTA, Mass Teachers Association. And what it says is that it will fund the police officers and their training and their equipment so that they can be stationed in every school in the Commonwealth, be trained to recognize potential intruders and to train for it, be trained to recognize potential abuses, to recognize it and to deal with it and to plan for it, and to develop relationships with good kids who are being tempted by bad drugs, and to recognize those early warning signals very early in the process, and to recognize what's going on the streets so that we can get out in front of it. If we can save one life doing this, it's worth it. I'll share with you what made me think about this.
Okay.
My son Ryan is a Kingston police officer. He's been on the job for 5 years. The day he graduated, one of the police officers from the Kingston PD, who was the DARE officer when Ryan was 12, came to Ryan's graduation and gave Ryan a frame with a letter in it, a handwritten letter. And the handwritten letter was from Ryan to Bobby Wells, his DARE officer.
I know Bobby very well.
There you go. And it said that I've learned a lot from you. I know that drugs are bad. I know that I have to do well in school. I know that I have to be nice to people, even people I don't know or maybe don't like. You've really taught me a lot. I thank you for that. One day I want to be a cop like you.
Wow. And
so when Ryan graduated from the police academy, Bobby presented him that letter back to him that he wrote when he was 12. So in my view,
that's awesome.
If in-school resource officers can develop the same type of interactive relationship, respect, and bond, imagine how that resource officer, man or woman, police officer, man or woman, can get out in front of issues going on the streets, issues going on in the home, issues going on outside the school fence that threaten our children.
Sure, and it's all related in a way too, and it's
so much so.
We are in a point now where this is a video game era. Let's say the last 15 years. And some of these violent video games have desensitized violence, completely desensitized violence.
Good point.
You have mafiosos with machine guns going down and killing innocent bystanders, and kids thinking this is the coolest thing they've ever seen, and with no regard to sensitivity or life or anything. And with my charity, Citizens for Children's Safety, our biggest obstacle is to get to people, and I'm glad you and I hooked up on this, is to let people know this is something that's not completely unaffordable to the taxpayer, where you've basically educated me on this this what is it, a kickback from the state?
Well, you don't want to use that word.
It's matching fund.
Politicians,
No.
Politicians hate that.
No,
term.
no. It's Tom.
Paul's
good,
in the gym
good for
business.
You. Honestly, you did your homework. You found a little bit way to pay for it, and dollar for dollar, what an investment. And if you think about it, what it costs us to lock up these poor good kids. I mean, just the prevention side. Prevention's key with health, education. And these are, I applaud both of you for doing this and to bringing this legislation. And I have 3 small children, and I'm nervous about where they are and what's going on in the school. And to have somebody that is sort of a liaison before the police department and the teachers and the parents, I think that would be great. And I was a big part of. We did DARE back in the day in my health clubs.
Great program.
And they cut it, and it was a great where all the kids met at we gave them the aerobics room, and we saw so many good ways for police officers to get to know the kids, and they do that a lot in Boston with the gang units. Their job is, if you see, I don't know, I saw a lot of this on Boston Finest, but it seems like they go into the neighborhoods and want to be friends with the kids in the neighborhoods, and then they tell them, because they trust them, what's really going on. So then I just think this is a wonderful idea, and I think everybody, how do you not get on board on this?
Well, when we did our drug forum a month ago, I was privileged to do the introduction, and I said to the folks in the room that I shared with them some advice that my uncle gave me. My father had 3 brothers, and they were all priests, and 2 of them were military officers. One was a full-bird colonel in Vietnam, one was a major in Vietnam. And the priest who was the full-bird colonel said, Tom, when Ryan was born, he said, you're in a race with society. Your child is born, now I'm going to date myself, with a white blank board on his brain. There's nothing on it. And you are in a race with society to fill up that whiteboard with good stuff, whether it's one-on-one conversations, whether it's education, whether it's dinner time conversations about issues of the day, whether it's about family values or how you treat your friends or how you speak to adults or how you treat the less fortunate, about charity, about family, about faith, about piety. And you either fill that up quickly, or those video games
we'll fill it up for you.
Or kids at school who don't share the same values, or dealers, drug dealers, will fill that space in. And you're in the race. And I remember he said to me, by the time he's 18, he's done. Well, what's that age these days?
Much earlier than that.
They're looking at video games.
12 or 13, maybe.
Children stop playing with dolls when they're pre-teenagers.
Right.
The longer we can keep our children as we're looking to fill up that tape, but that takes time as a parent. And many of our families, God love them, are 2-family homes,
right.
2 working family homes,
families.
doing the best they can to make ends meet. So the schools have taken on, in the past decade or more, a very important role of helping to raise society's children at the best they can. But now they're burdened with something.
Right.
And that's called MCAS. So now they're focusing all their time on passing the high-stakes standardized test and not being able to play as much of a role perhaps as your teacher played when we were kids.
That's a great point.
That's why we need in-school resource officers. Not hard guys, not tough cops, women or men, but people that will befriend our children and teach them that police officers in your community, the good ones,
right.
The good ones understand that, like politicians, we're public servants.
Absolutely.
We're not authorities.
And it just really makes me wonder, up in Danvers a couple of weeks ago, if there was a police resource officer in that school, would that woman have been saved? Just the mere fact of the presence of the police officer, would the kid have taken the initiative to do what he did, knowing, because he thought he was going to get away with this.
There's a good shot, Brian, that had there been an in-school resource officer, that kid would have indicated to somebody in that day he came to school
absolutely
with
he
the
was
tools
ready.
he needed to do what
premeditated.
He did. Children don't keep secrets.
There's
a good chance that he would have mentioned that to somebody in that school, and that somebody could have had a relationship with an in-school officer and said, hey, just a heads up.
Absolutely.
This kid came to school looking to do some real damage today, and he's problematic, and they would have been watching him like a hawk, and that young lady would still be alive.
Well, let's go back to my great friend Chief Phil Tavares in Marshfield, who you probably know, Tom.
Yes, of course.
And you remember the Columbine situation, which happened. It wasn't a Columbine, but it was a simulated two kids trying to put together a shooting attack in Marshfield, and they actually had guns and they were ready to do it, and the police resource officer was the one that stopped that. So that was on a tip.
I believe in it. I've seen it work in my own family. And I will tell you this. The event that we had last month, when I announced that it was a very serious 2-hour informative session. On the panel, we had District Attorney Cruz. We had my son Ryan. We had a in-treatment facility owner. We had a DARE officer from Plimpton, Bobby Wells, a detective from Kingston. And it was only when I announced this legislation that the place erupted in applause. So there's universal support for it. We just need a mechanism for doing it. And I will say that we're in the process of planning the Plymouth Forum now. It'll be at Plymouth North High School. It'll be in February. The date will be set the next 10 days to 2 weeks. It'll be on my website. I expect there to be
we'll promote it
200 to 300 people there.
We'll certainly promote that. No problem.
I'm excited to tell you that Judge Minahan from Plymouth District Court, who's a passionate advocate for educating our youth about the dangers of drugs and other dangerous behaviors, has got permission from the Ethics Commission to come speak on this forum about the issues and the type of people that come before her and the path they take to get there.
Sure.
It's important to understand that when you and I were kids, the people that ended up in drug court, when you saw them in drug court, they looked like they belonged there.
Sure.
If you go to drug court any day now,
could be anybody.
You're finding lawyers, doctors, business executives,
absolutely,
teachers. Otherwise,
well, there's more drugs too.
Very
there's way
accomplished,
more drugs.
law-abiding citizens.
Mm-hmm.
This thing is big and it's powerful, and we need to beat it at its core.
Well, the funny thing is, and not funny, but the interesting thing is it's so easy to get hooked. I mean, it could be just the first time an experiment, and you're hooked.
And you lose your kid. Really, I mean, that's,
no, I'm talking right.
That's
you could be a kid at a party. You had a couple of beers.
Right.
You're 15 years old, and you just arbitrarily take something. That can hook you right there. And you know what? It's funny because Jay Gillespie here, who's our correspondent here, he's actually a public school teacher in Situate. So, I mean, I'm sure you get what we're talking about.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, just based on what I've been listening to, I mean, we have an officer within the school. We have a DARE program still, which is really good. One officer, however, that sort of travels within, from school to school. But at Situate High School, of course, the police station is right there on the scene, so it's very close. Proximity is important. But to me, the more adult presence in any building, the better. Whether it's teachers, police officers, administrators, parents. All of them matter, because one of the issues within a school, of course, is it should be a place of freedom, whether that's academic, intellectual, whether that's just freedom, period. But the idea that there are so many more kids than adults in every building, and that's the difficult part of that, really, But there is no drawback to having any of these people in a building. Like the more officers, the better. Whether it's 1 or 20, the more parents, the better. Whether it's 1 or 20, and the more teachers, the better.
And some seniors. It's great. Yeah. Plymouth North, we're now integrating this. We put the Council on Aging right at the high school.
That's a great idea. I think everybody should do that. That's a great idea.
I think it should be part of the SBA, the School Building Authority funding program, is if you need a Council on Aging and you need a school,
put them together. And keep it safe.
What happens, what's really kind of cool, is the young folks help the seniors with their social media skills and social communication skills, and the seniors help the kids with things they don't get, like history,
right,
and civics and values,
or someone just to talk to.
I
mean, as you know, my dad's retired. He's in the 70s, and you can't get him out of Lowe's without talking to 50 guys in there. It's like that.
Well, we weren't going to take phone calls or emails tonight, but we have a few that had come in, and we're going to have to take that. Frank, you on the line?
Yes.
Hey, Cuz, how you doing, buddy? You got a question for us?
Hey, I just wanted to wish you a happy belated big birthday.
Thanks, Cuz.
All right. Well, that's not exactly a question, but
Cuz, you got a question for us? You been listening?
No, I do. I've been listening. You know what, guys? I'm a father of 3 teenagers, young teenagers, and I think what you guys are talking about is, you're hitting the nail right in the head. I mean, I think your parents, as a father and a mother, really need to be involved with the kids because, they can go over the border in New Hampshire today and they can buy this synthetic weed, and who knows what's in it. It's not like, when we grew up, your father would give you a smack in the head every day and say, hey, I know you're going to do something wrong today. Right. And, this is for it. But it's unbelievable. So you really have to have, your finger on the pulse of these kids. And, I'm up in the North Shore, and we're fortunate to have a dedicated police officer. But, again, he goes from school to school to school. And, you guys talked about earlier, the incident in Danvers, if there was a dedicated, police officer there, the outcome may have been different.
I totally agree, Frank. I think ultimately kids won't make some of these decisions because they don't feel like they're going to get away with it. It really comes to risk and reward in that situation.
They actually wonder if they're doing anything wrong. Hey, Frank, thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling, Frank.
And thanks for sharing that. It's important to understand that kids in your hometown, our hometown, can go to their local store and buy spice.
It's unbelievable.
It's not regulated. They can go buy it today. They can buy alcohol in gummy bears.
Wow.
And they soak gummy bears in the alcohol, and they go to school, and the teacher may say, take the candy out of your mouth. What they're doing is getting drunk.
I know.
Here's a shocker, and I find myself talking about this every day. It's become an obsession with me. I do coaching for young kids who are going off to college, young men who are going off to college, and I teach them critical thinking skills. And because many of them lack that as they're about to leave for college, and I make them think about the situations they're going to find themselves in when they get to college, so they can make decisions in advance and not be caught up. That's turned into a situation where I'm talking to parents about materials they've got in their home and their medicine cabinets that can get a kid addicted. We don't think about it, whether it's Percocet, whether it's oxycodone.
It's right there.
And we think it's alcohol.
Well, we're getting waved in. Tom Calter, thanks so much for that. We're going to commercial break. Friends with Benefits 95.9 WATD.
Hi, this is Darryl Hall, and you're listening to my friend Brian Stratton on 95.9 WATD.
Are you tired of trying worn-out methods for losing weight, quitting smoking, reducing toxic stress? Are you highly motivated to make healthy changes only to fall back into the same old habits? If yes, then call me Linda Bougier. I am your certified consulting hypnotist located in Plymouth, Mass. I will be your visual coach to help you tap into the power of your mind to live the healthy and happy life you deserve. It's true. You can change your mind to change your life. I offer private and group sessions for losing weight, quitting smoking, stress reduction, and more. Call me, Linda Bougier, certified hypnotist, for a free consultation and to reserve an appointment for a new you in the new year. Call 774-283-4090. Or you can find me on Facebook. That's Linda Bougier, Boggier, certified hypnotist. Have a happy new year.
Hey, it's Brian Stratton, and I'd like to talk to you about Mamma Mia's restaurant. With 5 convenient locations around the South Shore, you don't have to drive far to enjoy delicious Italian cuisine, just the way you like it. Whether you're in Carver, Plymouth, Hanover, Kingston, or the new location in Green Harbor, Mamma Mia's is something to please any palate. Catering, gift cards, and takeout are available 7 days a week. Contact Mamma Mia's online at mammamias.net. That's mammamias.net.
Are you looking for quality wines, domestic and imported beers, and fine spirits? Then you need to visit Brant Rock Variety and Package Store, 25 Dyke Road in the Brant Rock section of Marshfield. Or check out their new location, Cohasset Wine and Spirits, 29 South Main Street in Cohasset, both with the lowest prices in town. Brant Rock Package and Variety Store and Cohasset Wine and Spirits are both locally owned, and your headquarters for ice, soda, and lottery tickets. Brant Rock Package and Variety Store, 25 Dyke Road in the Brant Rock section of Marshfield. And now, Cohasset Wine and Spirits, 29 South Main Street in Cohasset, both happy to serve you. The law office of Philip M. Markella is a full-service law firm with a focus on family and divorce law. When your marriage dissolves, Phil's office will help you navigate those often rough waters. They'll represent your interests with respect and compassion. The law office of Philip M. Markella also assists with estate planning, real estate transactions, and adoptions. Get in touch with the law office of Philip M. Markella, 19 Depot Street, Duxbury. Their telephone number, 781-934-7977, 781-934-7977, and on the web at markellalaw.com. That's MARKELLA law.com.
My name is Chris Kelly, owner of Duxbury Motor Works, and I've been in the automotive service industry for about 20 years.
My name's Joe Dio. I'm partners with Chris at Duxbury Motor Works. People might know me as the former general manager of Green Automotive.
We are the dealer alternative.
It was an idea that Chris and I both had after working in the dealership environment. We want to be the friend in the business that everyone might say they have and feel comfortable, get your vehicle serviced by people that you can get to know and trust.
We fix everything at Duxbury Motor Works. If it has wheels and a motor, bring it to us.
We warranty everything that we do for 3 years, 36,000 miles. We do a full check over on every vehicle that comes in from stem to stern. We let you know what your vehicle is going to need now and also what might be coming up that we can see.
We help them prioritize in terms of what is important to do now for safety reasons and the things that can wait for budget concerns.
Duxbury Motor Works, 1474 Tremont Street in Duxbury, right at the corners of 3A and 139. Call us at 781-452-7471.
95.9 WATD, Friends with Benefits. We'd like to thank everybody for another great show. Jay Gillespie.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot for having me, Brian. Great time.
Tom Calter, my new best friend.
Thank you, Brian.
Amy, thanks for being here. And Paul Kearney, Atlanta Sports Clubs.
Thanks, brother.
We'll catch you guys next week on Friends with Benefits.